I've done a lot of things that I never would have dreamed would have been my reality because I've held so closely to that belief that I do create my own reality.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good morning, Madison, Manathunga. Previously, episode 950 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast. It's been just 3 years, 1 month, 23 days, 20 hours, and 30 minutes since we last recorded that conversation. That was then. This is now. Madison, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm so impressed with your math.
Oh, thank you. Blame it on a website.
The beauty of the internet.
Yeah, the beauty of the internet. Like, you just punch the numbers in. It's really cool though to see how time has passed. Does it even feel that way to you?
Yes and no. In some ways, I can't believe it's only been that long, and in other ways, so much has happened in such a short period of time. So, I'm definitely a different person to the one you spoke to 3 years and however many months and minutes ago.
Well, yeah, let's dig into that. Now, what I can say is the last time you spoke with us, it was Madison Black, right? So something seems to have changed there. How have other things evolved? Tell us, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did get married to my fiance, who I was engaged to during our last conversation.
Yes.
But yeah, so I changed my name to Manathunga, which was a big change, a long coming one.
Yeah.
And we've also added a new human to the planet. So that was a
Wow.
big change for us, along with all of the various business stuff that went on. So it's been a momentous couple of years for sure.
So, boy or girl?
We had a little girl.
Wow.
She is now 19 months old and a bundle of energy and keeps me very busy every day.
That's amazing. Wow. You know, it really feels like time travel that we get to reflect on you and listen as well. Like when you listen to the you then and the you now, it's really, really intriguing. It really piques my curiosity in terms of hearing the voice that urges us on. That being said, how do you discern that voice? The voice that says, yes, I should marry this guy, right? With his fancy last name, Manathunga, right? And then have a child, right? How do you discern that voice, Madison?
Yeah, I suppose it was always in the plan, and it's kind of thing where I think that it's just something that I rolled with. I feel like whilst I am a big planner, I am also pretty, I suppose, quick to action. And the thing with my husband and I, we had decided to hold off on getting married until our native country of Australia had decided not to allow gay marriage. And so we were engaged for quite a few years, actually, longer than the standard engagement. Fortunately, it wasn't as long as we anticipated it might be, because there was actually laws that were passed and we were able to get married. So that was really great, not just for us, but for our gay friends and family in Australia who now have the same rights as us. And yeah, we had intended to have children whether we were married or not. And fortunately, that was something that happened very easily for us, very surprisingly. And yeah, it was just at the right time, I think.
Well, congratulations. Well, networking on the internet, that was something that you were diving into when we first connected, right? How have things evolved with that? And of course, the Slow Health campaign, right? Like going into that. Tell us, how have those things evolved?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, networking has been probably one of my largest focuses and continues to be. I definitely am surrounded by some of the most amazing people, at least digitally, which is testament to the networking that I have done in the last 3 years. Definitely when we spoke last, I think my network was a fraction of the size that it is now, and I'm very grateful for the people that I know. In terms of our slow health focus, that has changed significantly. We were running our business specific to health and happiness and habit change, And unfortunately, it was the case that we didn't really have the passion for that business in the way that we thought, and it was quite a financial strain on us at the time. And so we took a pivot around the time that we last spoke to move into more of a digital marketing space. And that has evolved and evolved and evolved into many different forms until today. I'm now serving people, helping them to launch six-figure courses so that they can quit working with clients, which was really part of our journey of working with so many clients over so many years, and finding that whilst we definitely had found freedom from needing to go back to something like a job, we had actually created a job for ourselves. And so that's definitely been our focus now, to kind of give ourselves that freedom that we were always searching for.
How does it feel though, like looking back from now to then, seeing the way things happened, right? Because we plan, right? Like we plan, hey, we go straight down the road, right? Like you take a left, then you take a right, but it doesn't happen that way most times. But how does it make you feel to see the process in reflection?
It's definitely eye-opening. I think in the beginning I felt very concerned with needing to know exactly what my path was going to be. And I felt a lot of anxiety around not knowing exactly how my business was going to look, or exactly how I was going to make that money and create that freedom that I so desired. And increasingly over the 3 years, at least since we have spoken, I have learnt a lot in terms of having to lean into that uncertainty and to become more and more comfortable with that level of uncertainty, and just to kind of flow with what's happening right now, and to trust that the journey that I'm on, especially from a business perspective, is the right one, and the one that's ultimately going to lead me to that lifestyle that I am even currently living and creating at the same time. Because I also recognized early on that to try and live in the future and only rely on that version of how I want to live being in the future, and not allowing myself to live any version of that now, was a flawed way to live, and a place where I would constantly be unhappy. So I've definitely learnt a lot and changed the way that I move through the world.
Did it start with that mindset, or was that a mindset that developed over time that, hey, I deserve more than that?
I think I've always had that mindset. I've always felt that I was largely in control or in command of the life that I was willing to create and live. And, taking the plunge into moving overseas when I did, which we no doubt spoke about 3 years ago, was a huge commitment to that belief in myself, which has only been deepened over 3 years of continuing to move to a different country. I think when we spoke last, I was living in Mexico, and now I'm living in Canada, and I had a child overseas in a different country. Like, I've done a lot of things that I never would have dreamed would have been my reality, because I've held so closely to that belief that I do create my own reality.
There were 4 fur babies in the midst of it, right? Are they still around? Your pets, your 4 fur babies?
Yeah, we have. Now we still have 3. One of them, unfortunately, had to find another home. It wasn't getting on well with the other fur babies. And I have one that's getting very old, and so I don't think he will be with us much longer. But they are still living in Australia, and we're still caring for them long distance. And yeah, we miss them very much.
In the midst of life, the reality of death peaks up ever so often. Is that a conversation you have with yourself? Is it in the forefront of your day planning, or in the back end of your mind, that it is possible that you could die today or tomorrow?
I don't tend to dwell too much on that. However, since having a child, I don't know if you've experienced this yourself, but
3 times.
My mortality, definitely.
3 times my mortality has been eroded.
Yeah, I definitely, it's something that if I allow myself, I can fall into this fear mindset of just imagining my own death, or imagining who I would leave behind more so, which was something that really surprised me when I had my daughter, how much that crept in. And I've done my best to keep that at bay, because I don't want to live in that fear. And if anything, I very strongly believe that if we sit in that too much, we actually attract in that reality. So yeah, it's definitely, my mortality is definitely more on my mind despite my best efforts.
Now, for those that are listening who are intrigued by what you do, who want to access that service of building their course, where's the best place for them to go to?
Absolutely. I'd love for them to just pop over to my website, madisonmanathunga.com. You'll find everything there, and have a look at my masterclass, which is all about how to launch a 6-figure course from scratch without ads, even if their audience is too small. I believe anyone who has knowledge to share should be sharing it. And so we can all up level in this world.
Well, my friend, it is a grand opportunity to call in and to hear that you've not given up. Definitely things have evolved, but you've not given up, my friend. And that is amazing. I do appreciate you. I appreciate your service to humanity. Of course, everything that you've learned, you could have kept it to yourself, but you've decided to share it. So thank you for that. In closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I just so appreciate being given the opportunity to come back and speak with you again. And I applaud you continuing this journey, your commitment to consistently showing up yourself. I know that consistency has been a huge part of my journey. And so I so admire what you've created, and just thank you again.
You're very welcome. Again, folks, Madison, Manathunga, Madison, a pleasure. I treasure. Thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.